Hey everybody, welcome back to Detox. Let's see, we are on week 3, day 4. We've been talking a lot about Daniel and of course everything to do with fasting, right? And so today I wanted to talk to you about fasting as like exercise or as endurance, right? So kind of stretching those spiritual muscles. So, I mean, how many of us actually work out? Maybe not all of us, but I'm sure a lot of us, we either intend to work out or we in fact do work out. And what's it for? Well, it's to get in shape, right? You could look at fasting as truly being a spiritual workout, right? We still have to flex or test our spiritual muscles. It's the only way for us to stay in spiritual shape. And so fasting, of course, is a great way to do that. One of the best ways to do that, truly. When I think of it, I think of it like this. So, I mean, for me personally, I like going to the gym because I like the results that I garner when I stay committed to it. However, do I really stay committed to it all the time? I'm just gonna go and let y'all know, no, I don't. I'll go for a week or I'll go for 2 weeks, maybe even a month. And then, you know, you start seeing these results and you're like, hey, you know what? This doesn't look bad. I'm pretty happy with where I'm at. I think I'll give myself tomorrow off. Well, then the following day comes and it's like, oh, it was so nice to sleep in. You know what? I'm gonna take off today. I still look pretty good. Now, that continues. If you're like me, that continues. Once you miss a day, 2 days, well, those 2 days, now it turns into a week. That turns into 2 weeks. Suddenly a month has passed and it's like, I should probably get back to the gym. I'm starting to no longer see the results that I had gotten from everything I had put in, you know, all of the hard exercise, all the tough days that I had, it's all starting to fall off. Well, look at your spiritual life in the same manner. Because let's look at it like this. How many of us have had a day at church? Maybe you're at service. Maybe it's just a moment where you're alone in solitude and you have some type of an epiphany or an encounter with God or just something that's so profound. Again, whether that be through a message at church, whether that be during maybe a praise and worship session. I know a lot of mine come during a praise and worship session. Or again, just a moment by yourself. But either way, you've had some type of an encounter with the Spirit, right? Something that truly settled on you. It may have brought tears to your eyes. It may have been this complete moment of just submission and knowing that, oh my gosh, that's you, God. I hear you. I can feel what you're trying to teach me, right? And in that moment, you're like, oh, that's it. There's nothing else. I'm gonna pray for an hour every day. I'm gonna read scripture. I'm gonna share the good news with others. Right? Like we think that in that moment we're going to be changed. Like we've encountered the Spirit. Now we're gonna be changed completely going forward. And I would dare say that goes for, you know, I'm not saying for everyone, but for a lot of people that goes on for a day, a week, again, a month, right? That you're really committed. Inevitably, much like with working out, we end up getting complacent in some way. And one day we decide, you know, I don't really have to read scripture today. I don't really need to listen to my worship music today. I don't really need to spend some solitude time in prayer talking to God. I could probably go without it today. And then just like with your working out, that day turns into the next day. The next day turns into the day after that. And pretty soon, you're distant from your spiritual walk. You're distant from God. You've fallen back into the old ways, right? And again, it happens to me. I mean, the same thing can be said for myself, right? That's why throughout these journeys, you know, I know that we've referenced it before, but we're not always gonna hit the mark, guys. It's just not gonna happen. But I do say this, I say if we're going to fail, let's fail forward. let's always push towards the mark, knowing that we might miss from time to time, but we're gonna keep going. So again, relating it back to working out, right? So if you wanna see results physically, we gotta go to the gym, we gotta lift the weights, we gotta do the cardio, all these different things, right? But we have to stay consistent at it, because if we don't, those results don't just last, you know? I know that for me, as I've gotten older, if I don't stay consistent with going to the gym, the results they just go away within a week's time, or maybe a little more than that, but not much. Well, again, spiritual exercise is necessary, and fasting is a wonderful spiritual exercise. And so I would just ask for you to kind of think of it in that way. And you know what? I just want to take a second, because just because we're talking about exercise and I reference the gym, and this is just food for thought, okay? How many of you go to the gym and work out? And if you do, how many of you go early in the morning? Let's say 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning, right? Like, you're regimented, right? Because physical appearance, you want to keep that up. And so you get up in the morning, you get to the gym, and when you get there, you are surrounded by people. It's pretty crazy. Like, I think it's shocking to me sometimes how many people I see there at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock in the morning. And when I'm consistent with it, I see those same people like every day. They're committed to it, right? But on Sundays, when I come to church, I don't see the same turnout that I even do at the gym. And so I would just ask you to kind of think about that, right? Like, physical appearance and that versus spiritual exercise, right? So again, we're going through the fast. So it's just interesting to see how we value certain things over others. Because if the sacrifice that Jesus made for all of us truly does mean everything, and it's our eternity, if you will, right? Life everlasting. Shouldn't that trump our physical appearance and what a value we place on that? Again, I see the people at the gym, I see the same ones. They're always there every single day. And so it's early in the morning, you know? My gosh, what if we had church service at 5 o'clock in the morning, 6 o'clock? I wonder how many people I would see here. But yet, this is our eternity. This is everything. So just food for thought. Doesn't have anything to do with the fasting, just food for thought. But anyway, again, fasting, spiritual exercise, endurance, that's what we're doing. That's what we're doing. And I do have one quick scripture for you. So this is gonna be in Matthew 24, verse 13. But the one who endures to the end will be saved. Think about that. The one who endures to the end. So make sure that you're staying spiritually fit and going through this fast with us, and let's make some progress in our spiritual abilities. Thanks. Take care.